Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Shotsukihoyo service for the month of June. We also welcome Reverend Dennis Fujimoto, who will be officiating today's service and delivering the Dharma message. We will begin with meditation, and Sensei will ring the bell to start and ring the bell to end the meditation. Please, Gashiro. When we see the golden sun shining from above, we are mindful of the Buddha's love. Over us all, his pure compassion sheds its steadfast glow. By his doctrine, wisdom's great to show. When we see the silver moon gleaming in the night, we are mindful of Buddha's light. With the Namo to guide us as we live our lives out of sorrow into joy and light. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Please all stand for the opening gatha, Metta, on page 178 of the Purple Book. and remain standing for the reading of the threefold refuge. 178. Threefold refuge on page 10 of the book. Difficult is it to receive a human form. Now we are living it. Difficult it is to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth.
I take refuge in the Buddha. May we together with all sentient beings awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to become surpassed in men of the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we together with all sentient beings enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we together with all sentient beings become units in true accord, in harmony with all things.
The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. The Shotsukihoyo service is held in observance of those family members, relatives, and friends we have lost during the month in which it is observed. Today, the names of the Shotsuki honorees for the month of June will now be read. For those family members and friends and relatives, please come forward to Gasho during the reading of those names if you are observing Shotsukihoyo today. Those June honorees are Toshio Fujihara, Matsuyo Kunimoto. Ichi Matsuda. Kimiko Matsumoto. Akinobu Miyashita. Kozuzaimon Yokoyama. Tohei Okazaki. Seichi Okuma. Kazuo Oshida. Yumi Shigematsu. Toshio Shimizu. Satsu Sugiyama. Norma Sugiyama. Masaichi Takahashi. Jimmy Wakayama. Umataro Wakayama. Richard Albert Dangers. Annette Wan. Chioko Miyano. Amy Tsunemoto. Namiko Takao. Alice Nobuko Takao. Kisasuro Tsujihara. Hatsuyo Yamasaki. Chika Matsumoto. George Mukaida. Maxine Abe. Chikako Allen. Sumie Kobayashi. Ayami Taniguchi. Rose Fuji. Mary Tomiko Miyazaki. Mary Satsuyo Yamakawa. Terumi Moriki. Ralph Hoyo. Bonsoir Lim. We will now have sutra chanting, and Sensei will begin with Sambujo on page 24, and will continue with the sutra chanting Amida Kyo on page 103. Page 24 first, all in the purple book.
Shobyakumon. Today, on this occasion of the Shotsuki service for the month of June, members of our temple families have reverently come before Amida Buddha in memory of their beloved. With deepest reverence and thankfulness for the all-embracing wisdom and compassion of Amida, we reaffirm the three homages, Namo Butsu, Namo Hoyo, Namo So. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Please repeat the Nembutsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida
Yo
幕仏即位直次元道本国本地教行者利法国ら国領上重行政空毒将軍武士者利法非国上修習奇妙雑式身長学校空宅無者利家領民が無名死長聖書宗教長や六時水和下音高音年長高根合力七五来文八章道文行政道道領修上門前本に大質念仏念法念僧者に法の物理師教実税祭法少々医者が無道無三幕宗者に法法部国土総無三幕道資料家教実聖書宗教大聖阿弥陀仏欲量法音全流演芸少佐者利法異無国土未復水道小法五十流法羅網水未妙門二尿百千住宅同時空差門世門者大事年上念仏念法念僧死心者利法上部国土上重行税空毒将軍
The Dharma message for today will be Reverend Dennis Fujimoto.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see everyone here. It's always touching, Shotsuki service, and to see the families coming up to honor the people they have lost in their families. And I really appreciate being able to come here to Enmanji to be a part of this special service each month. So I'd like to start today's Dharma message with Wasan. Please join me in Gassho. Ignorance and blind passions abound, pervading everywhere like innumerable particles of dust. Desire and hatred arising out of conflict and accord are like high peaks and mountain ridges, Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. So I'm reading this, I paraphrased it and put my own translated verses, and this is my version of this wasan. Attachments and lack of wisdom constantly swirl through our minds and lives. Things we prefer and things we detest arise to block our vision of what is true. Regularly, my mother lives nearby. She's been here to do the flower workshop, and she lives in San Leandro. It's about a 15-minute drive from Alameda, our home, and I go there regularly to help with groceries or medications or appointments and things like that. And she watches TV Japan. Okay? I think it's TV Japan or Japan TV, one of those. And so before I came to Alameda, my brother was providing this service, paying for it, and so she would get this at her home when he was in San Jose. So after he retired, he says, well, I'm not making as much money anymore, so Dennis, you take over these payments, okay? So, okay, I'll take care of it. And so Comcast TV, they give you all these different channels, and as an addition, you order the TV Japan, okay? So she doesn't watch anything else except TV Japan. So $70 worth of this monthly payment, we don't deal with any of it. Even if I come over, don't change the channel. Right? So only TV Japan's on her TV station. And when I come, one of the programs is a comedy program, and there's maybe some of you are familiar, 5 comedians or something like this, and they cut jokes on each other, and it's like a one-upsmanship, and when you get the last laugh, you get an extra futon to sit on. So the one that's leading, right, he'll have a number of futon to sit on. So he might end up with 8, 10, or 12 futon. So he's sitting way high, and the others are only sitting on 1 or 2 futon, right? So this is how you win this contest. And they have different people, regulars, that come onto this program. And I'm watching this, and there's one comedian named Takeshi Kitano, and he's never one of the winners, right? But he's always there, and he doesn't look like a comedian. He's a very straight-faced, stern kind of look, but he's always there. And in the Japanese programs, he's known as a comedian and as a TV host, and so he has this reputation. But outside of Japan, I didn't know immediately. Outside of Japan, he's known more as a filmmaker, a writer, director, and an actor. Okay? So being this stern-faced person, rarely would he be at the top of this comedian show contest. But I would see him regularly. Now and then, she'd be watching a movie and say, hey, that's that guy. Yeah, he does acting too. So little by little, I'll become familiar with this person. So because he has this straight-faced, stern look, and he's kind of a husky guy, so he plays these roles like a policeman or a gangster, right? A Yakuza type of person. Tattoos on his arm or on his back or something like this. So these are the roles that he played. So later, as I learned more about him, he writes these novels, and I have this story he wrote about an old scholar who came across watching this golden eagle's nest. Okay, so this is the Dharma message for today. So I appreciate watching animals. We have pets in our household, and when I run on the beach in Alameda, I come back to Charmin, have a different story each time. The geese are coming out from the park, coming onto the beach, and it's like mom and dad or a couple elders are bringing the young ones, and they look like little footballs, right? And they're not even feathered yet, they're just like fuzzy, and they're all marching down to the water, training session to learn how to swim in the bay. And other times it's seagulls, and other times it's different birds, pelicans that are out there. So I tell her what happened this day, and just a week ago, in front of the temple, there's water in the gutter, and a crow came by, and not too far, like you do me, close. I didn't want to look at him because I might scare him away, but I'm looking away, but kind of watching, and this crow has a piece of morsel. First I thought it was bread, but maybe it's a piece of tortilla or something. It looked kind of hard. Could have been senbei, not sure. But he comes and he looks at me, felt safe, and he just flicks it into the water. And it soaks up some water so it gets softer, right? And then he takes it out, pecks it, eats it, flicks it back into the water so it gets soft. The rest of it would get soft. Pull it out. So, that's so smart. So let it get some moisture, then he could eat it more comfortably, more easily. So, wow. So I always appreciate watching the animals nearby, near the temple, in our homes and things like this. So in this particular story, this old scholar is retired, and he liked to go hiking up the mountainside in Japan. And he'd go up these trails, mountainous trails, and after he goes so far, one of these trips he noticed a nest up in the trees. It's a golden eagle's nest. So I really appreciate that he found this nest, and he'd watch for a while, then hike on. And as he would pass it each day, there's more activity, and he knew there's an egg had been laid in this nest. So he's watching carefully. The mother would come and sit there, and he's seeing how, what is happening each day, a little bit different. And so as he's going day after day, finally he notices there's a chick up there. So the baby eagle's up there, and mother flies back in and feeds it a little bit, sits there a while, and takes off again and comes back, right? And so he's so happy that he found this situation going on, and he was able to witness and see this family going on. So after he's watching this a few days, he noticed that the mother didn't come back for a day or two. So he started to getting worried. If the mother doesn't come back, this chick's not going to be able to survive. So he's watching and getting more and more concerned. So after a couple of days, he decided he's going to intervene and climb up there and take this baby home. And so he did this. So he brought home this baby eagle, golden eagle, and brought it and showed his wife, and they named it Kamui, and this means divine spirit. So they took Kamui, took care of it, and so watching it, and this baby eagle became the center of attention, became kind of a source of their joy and happiness. They're watching every day, getting a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, and they watched this chick grow. And after a few months taking care of it, the baby eagle had grown strong enough, the wings are getting more powerful, and pretty close to getting ready to get returned. And the old man really believed that these animals, you shouldn't keep them, if at all possible, you let them return to nature, and this was his plan. So even though he thought he might not ever see Kamui again, he should let this eagle go back to nature. So this was his plan. And about a mile away from his home, there's a young boy going to school and coming back home from school one day. He sees this rustling in the bushes, and it's a bird. So he looks in there, and looks like the bird was injured, a little dove. So he catches this dove. So no, and I think the wing was injured. So he took it home and kind of put it in a smaller area so it wouldn't get hurt, and trying to feed the bird, and little by little he's getting better. And so he named this dove Azusa. So he's taking care of Azusa, and he'd go to school and he'd run home quickly to make sure to come and see how Azusa was doing. So every day he'd run home from school and check on the bird, take care of him, feed him, doing all these things. And then the bird is getting stronger, and the father helped him. So they built a small coop in the backyard so he would have a little bit more space. And so the bird was getting nursed back to health over there. Okay. And so one night, this little boy had a dream that he and Azusa were flying together out up, in the sky, and they're just both enjoying this freedom to be able to fly. So this was his dream. And a couple of days later, he heard this thrashing in the bird coop, and he ran out there, and Azusa was trying to fly. And so the father said, it's getting time that we have to release this bird. He wants to fly. It's banging against the side of this coop. And so the little boy was getting sad that, that Azusa would not be a part of their family for very long. And so a week or two passed, and the father said, the weather looks good for tomorrow. We should take Azusa up to the mountains and let him go. And so the boy looked real sad, and the father continued, life in this coop is suffocating for Azusa. The spacious sky, that's his playground, that's where he belongs. And so the boy, remembering the dream, how happy they were together, flying in this dream. So even though he's going to miss Azusa, he knew his father was right. So they took the bird the next morning, and they went up to the hills, into the mountains. Beautiful sunny day, like a perfect morning for a brand new life. So the boy reached into the cage and he grabbed Azusa and let him go. So both the father and the son are waving, and Azusa's taking off. They're so happy. He could fly, and he's strong enough, and he's disappearing. And it almost looked like Azusa paused for a moment just to look back at them, like to say, thank you for helping me. Thank you for taking care of me. Okay. So then he flew straight towards the mountains. And just as Azusa was getting higher, there's a shadowy figure behind him, coming closer quickly. And Azusa tried to fly faster, but this shadow is coming closer, closer, and all of a sudden, boom, and knocked him down towards the ground. And the boy screamed, ah! And Azusa was flying, falling, okay? And at the same time, farther off in the forest, the old man clapped his hands for joy, because Kamui, hand raised and domesticated, now he's flying on his own, attacked the dove, knocked it down, and was able to catch it for a meal. And the old man was so happy that this eagle was strong enough, he would be able to survive and feed himself. Okay? Even though he was domesticated, he had the sense to be able to catch his prey and to be able to feed itself. Okay? So he didn't hear the boy's scream over there, but even if he had heard it, he would have thought it was another cheer for Kamui, right? So they have this different perspective. So in our world, we have polar opposites coming into contact and creating conflict. Okay? Through wisdom beyond attachment, we open to a different way of seeing, one that is wider, one that is deeper. Fulfillment and happiness on one side may be the cause of suffering and sadness on another side. And so this is how things work out sometimes as we go through our lives and see different types of situations going on around us, in our families, in the world. So as I was thinking about this particular story, I was reminded of another story, and I share this often, and you might recognize this story. It's about a farmer in China, and he had a horse. Okay? So he had a very nice, beautiful horse that everyone in the village knew that he had this very majestic horse, special one. So they would always appreciate to see the farmer and his horse and tell him, oh, what a beautiful horse, how lucky you are to have this horse. And so one day the horse ran off into the barbarian territory. Okay? So everyone heard that this beautiful horse ran away. So the village people came to the farmer. So I'm so sorry to hear that your beautiful horse ran off. How sad you must be to lose such a treasure. So he told them, well, I'm not sure how it's going to end up. Yeah, we'll miss him, but we never know how things will end up. And so this is how this chapter ended. And several months later, his horse returned, came back to his farm. Not only did it come back, it came back with one of the horses from the barbarian territory. So not only did he get his treasured horse back, he has another horse. So all the villagers came and said, oh, how lucky you are. Your horse came back, and now you have two instead of one. So that's so nice that you were able to have not only one horse, but two. So everyone felt he was so fortunate. But he said, well, right now it looks good, but I'm not sure how that'll be. So, he's still a bit reserved. And so his words kind of came true, because his son tried to ride this new horse, a wild horse, and he got bucked off the horse and he broke his leg. So everyone in the village came over and said, oh, we heard what happened to your son. That's such a sad story. He tried to ride this horse and break the horse so you could use them, but now your son is hurt. And so they all felt bad and gave the condolence to this farmer. And again, said, well, I'm not sure how it all turned out, but thank you for coming over. And then a few weeks later, a month later, the barbarians came to attack the village. So there's a big war going on, and all the young men of the village were recruited into the army to help protect the village. But his son didn't have to join this army because he had a broken leg, right? And so, because most of the young men were killed in this battle, but because his son had a broken leg, he was spared from joining this army. So again, what he thought was bad luck turned into a fortune, that he did not lose his son. His son is bending with a broken leg, but he's still alive and still fortunate. So the story shows the good and bad fortunes are relative, interdependent, and ever-changing. So when he first lost his horse, everyone was so sad for this villager, the farmer. And then he thought, well, maybe it's not so bad. We don't know. The horse came back with another horse, and everyone's so happy. So, well, it looks good, but we don't know. We don't really know. And his son got hurt, so that's so sad, but we don't know. Maybe we don't know. Then everyone joined the army. His son was protected. He didn't lose his son. So what's good was bad. What's bad is good. And everything changes depending on the situation, depending on how things are unfolding. So what seemed to be bad became good. What seemed to be good became bad. And others were quick to attach to this perspective, and he reserved himself. So, well, I'm not so sure how things turned out. All his life experience, he didn't just join on this feeling good, feeling bad, and wait. Let's wait to see how things unfold, and then we could have a better view. And I think we see oftentimes that this is the case, again, in our own families, in our own lives, in our own circles, and these circles grow. We're not sure how things will always turn out. So please join me in Gassho, and let me read this wasan one more time, see how it fits with these stories. Ignorance and blind passions abound, pervading everywhere like innumerable particles of dust. Desire and hatred arising out of conflict and accord, are like high peaks and mountain ridges. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sensei. But I've got to admit that I think the stories this morning were a little bittersweet for me, but most thought-provoking. So on my next walk, you can believe that I will simply look at the brighter side. On my next walk, which are oftentimes very short, but thought-provoking. So let's all rise now for the closing gatha, Arigato, on page 249 in the purple book.
Please be seated.
This will conclude today's Shotsukihoyo service for the month of June. I'd like to extend a thank you to Sensei for his timer message today and for officiating the service. Thank Daryl for the kancho and for preparing for the onajin for the service. Dr. Kent for the organist for the music, and our June Joban for the attention and preparation with the flowers and offerings to our onajin. And of course, Ty, our videographer, for editing this service for us today. Are there any other announcements to be made?
Good morning, or good afternoon. Today in the hall, we have put on display a gift that came to us from Nez Tokugawa. He lives in Healdsburg and has the tea cafe. So he became a member, and he has things, after his wife passed away, he has things that he has been donating. So this came from his father's side of the family. I believe he went on a pilgrimage in Japan with his wife when she was alive, and they visited various temples, and so there is a scroll that has the stamp of 88 temples of the Shingon tradition. So it's another Japanese Buddhism form. So anyway, this was what his father had practiced, apparently. And so anyway, he also got 2 framed items, and he's donated them. Since it's not of our tradition, we are very happy to accept it, but we'd rather pass it along to people of the tradition that would appreciate it the most. So I have found a temple, I call the LA Shingon Temple, and they said in Northern California would be in Sacramento, the closest temple. So I did call, and the minister answered, and so he will take a look at the items that I emailed him photo images of, and consider whether they will take them on. But for display today, so that you can see them, because they are beautiful, they are in the hall. Okay? Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. So this afternoon we had our June Shotsukihoyo service. In 2 weeks we're going to have our Eitaikyo service, and that is not an afternoon service, that is a morning service. The same procedure will be followed in July when we have our July Shotsukihoyo and Obon, which is going to be in the morning. So just realize that if you look at the gate, the announcement board is correct. So in 2 weeks we do have our Eitaikyo. So today we had our Shotsukihoyo service where we remember those who died in the month of June. Eitaikyo, we remember everyone who died in any month. And in particular, we remember those people whose names are in the Eitaikyo books. So you can take a look at my message in the Sangha, but Reverend Henry Adams from San Mateo will be joining us in 2 weeks. Thank you.
Any other announcements? If not, then let's all go next door to the hall and observe this new exhibit that Diane's been talking about, and enjoy cold water and tea and tea. No tea? Oh, no tea. Cold water. Cold water.
There's melons.
And melon. That's from the Toban, so please join us.